Hello, beautiful people. Today, I want to talk about some of the reasons why you keep falling off track. Many of us are not as successful as we'd like to be because we compare ourselves to others. And if we don't measure up, we think others are somehow better, smarter, or more industrious than we are. But the truth is, those people who seem to be more successful, and I say that loosely because success means different things to different people, but what makes them special or achieve more is the type of systems that they have in place. These systems help them to stay consistent even when they have low motivation. One of the reasons why we fall off is because people resist routines. And one of the reasons you may not be as successful as you would like is because there's that fear of rigidity, right? Having routines sometimes can make you feel stifled and rigid. Another reason people resist routines is due to past failures. Maybe you set routines in the past and got distracted in some way and believe that routines don't work because it was too easy to knock you off your path. And some of us have that all or nothing attitude, right? Which actually weakens our objectives. You decide that it's either going to work completely or not at all. This type of thinking is like throwing something against the wall and hoping it will stick. And so that's kind of like a defeatist attitude already because you want it to work. That's what you're striving for. You're striving for it to work as opposed to guessing whether it's going to work or whether it's not going to work. You're going to do things to make it work. And that's what you need to find out instead of resisting the routine. See if having this routine and sticking to this routine is going to make it happen for you. And what routines actually do. So, routines frees up your mental space, right? It reduces that overwhelm and it supports your identity changes, right? So you know you're becoming someone and it makes room for you to be that person. Let's look at it like this. Say you're working on a job and you're doing a project for a client that you have a 4 o'clock deadline. But then your manager comes in and it's like, can you do this? This really needs to be done before the end of the day. Now you're stuck between your promise that you made to this client for 4 o'clock and what your manager needs because it's an emergency and you're the only one that basically can do it, or maybe everyone in the office is doing it and you have to do your part too so that everybody can get it done by the end of the day. So now you may be stuck in a dilemma, right? But if you have your routine in place and if you've been working on your client project for however long and you have a pretty good amount of the work done, you can always reach out to the client and let them know, hey, something's going on. I may not get this to you at 4 o'clock. Is it okay for me to give it to you at 5 o'clock? But here I'm going to give you what I already have. And if there's any changes, I can make those changes. You know, you can let me know what changes need to be made. And then that way, when you do give them the project by 4 o'clock, you can give it to them completed with any new changes that they may have made to it. Because sometimes, we get overwhelmed, excuse me, we get overwhelmed because we have so many different people pulling at us and we have to do so many different things. But when you have your routine and you've been following your routine and some emergency comes up, you have the capacity to think about, okay, well, you know what? Let me let the client know up front, okay? So you're not feeling that like a failure because you didn't meet the deadline. You understand? So that's why routines are important. So now, once you let the client know that, hey, I can't do this right now, you know what I'm saying? Something came up, I may not make the deadline. But look at what I already have and let's make some changes and maybe, I can get it to you by 5 or You know what I'm saying? I'll stay later to make sure that that gets done as well. So that you're not, when you're working on your manager's project, your mind is not racing and you're not getting overwhelmed with, okay, well, how am I going to get that done? And I'm going to do that. And let me do both of them at the same time. And you're not getting, and then everything starts messing up, right? You don't get any of them right. So you want to take your time, focus on one thing, but let the other person know, or even let your manager know, hey, I have this 4 o'clock deadline. Which one is more important to you? Because we don't want to lose the client. So maybe the client that he has is bigger than your client. So it's like, okay, well, you know what? We're gonna have to put that one aside, and we have to work on this bigger client, right? Because we definitely don't want to lose them. So all hands are on deck. So things like that happen all the time. So when you have a routine and you're really doing the work, if something like that comes in, you have the opportunity to make changes as necessary so that you're not feeling overwhelmed, right? And maybe the client will say, well, you know what? I was looking this over, and guess what? Don't give it to me until Monday because I have to talk to someone else, and we left something out that we need in there. So things usually work themselves out. So that's why routines are important because they clear up the mental space. And then having a scheduled success system. So a scheduled success system helps you structure your week. It's an energy based system that helps you with scheduling and with built in flexibility so you can make conscious decisions and not get thrown off when changes occur, just like with the example that I gave you. So, how do you get started with this? I would suggest thinking about one routine that you can do each morning, especially if you work a 9 to 5, right? And you're interested in starting your own business. Maybe you want to go to bed an hour earlier so you can wake up an hour earlier and do something toward building your business, right? And by incorporating that one thing into your morning routine can help you to have a thriving business while you're still working your 9 to 5. And you can also start one weekly planning habit, right? Set aside a day and a time for planning. Planning is an excellent way to succeed, right? Isn't there a saying that says if you fail to plan, you plan to fail? So we want to make sure that we're setting weekly planning sessions and especially a week in advance. And I know it does feel rigid because you don't want to have to do that, right? But as business owners, these are the things that we have to do. Maybe when you're, you know, working a 9 to 5, you already have your routine. You get up, you get dressed, you eat or whatever. Maybe you want to not buy your breakfast out. Maybe you want to start making breakfast at home, right? That's a routine that you can actually do each morning. So I really want to encourage you to do an audit of your current routines. Look to see if they're serving you well or if they need improvement, and then make the necessary changes. Remember, you don't need to do more. You just need a schedule that supports who you're becoming. If you like more pointers, grab a copy of my scheduling success system worksheet to help you get your routines back on track. Until next time, I'm Monica Renee. Peace and love.